Hey everybody, this video is split into 4 parts. First, I'll talk about why you should ditch Windows, then a quick look at the Thinkpad, full Arch installation, and finally, what to do after the install to get everything set up. Enjoy! The liberty of one citizen ends where the liberty of another citizen begins. That's not a tech take, that's enlightenment, political philosophy, the foundation of every free society that's ever functioned. Microsoft has decided it doesn't apply to the machine sitting on your desk. Right now on your Windows 11 install, there is a service running called Connected User Experiences and Telemetry. It is on by default. It is collecting your app usage, your browsing behavior, your hardware interactions, and sending them to Microsoft. You paid for the operating system. You did not consent to being the product inside it. Then, in 2024, they announced Recall, an AI feature that takes a screenshot of your screen every few seconds, indexes it, stores everything you've ever looked at in searchable local database, passwords, bank statements, private conversations, all of it. When researchers got their hands on the first version, they found it stored the entire database in plain text, no encryption. Anyone with access to your machine, or even worse, a malware, could read your entire digital life. Microsoft pulled it, rebuilt it, relaunched it in April 2025 with new encryption and biometric locks. 2 months ago, a security researcher named Alexander Haganah, the same researcher who broke it in the first version, published a tool called Total Recall Reloaded. It bypassed everything Microsoft said they fixed. You paid for this operating system and it is surveilling you. So let's do something about it. This machine is a Thinkpad P15 Gen 1. It has a 10th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, an NVIDIA Quadro 3000 GPU, and up to 128 GB of RAM. Remember, all ThinkPads are customizable. You can change nearly everything. Together with its Linux compatibility, it makes for a perfect machine, especially considering the low prices on the used market. The first thing we need to do is install GPG, which is the tool we use to verify the signature of the ISO archlinux file that we have downloaded from the website. It is actually in the manual, so I am very surprised that nobody is doing it. Open your browser and go to gnup.org. Go to the download section. Scroll down to Windows, download the simple installer, run it and follow the default installation steps. Now go to archlinux.org and click on download. Scroll down to the mirror list and pick any mirror close to you, then download the ISO. I will use the international mirrors. It is about 1.5 GB, so it might take a few minutes depending on your connection. Click the first archlinux ISO and download it. While that's downloading, scroll back up to the top of the Arch Linux download page. Here you will find the PGP signature and the SHA-256 sums file. Download both of these directly from the Arch Linux website, not from the mirror where you got the ISO. The reason for this is that the mirror files could theoretically be tampered with, so we always grab the signature and the checksum from the official source. For the SHA-256 file, make sure to right-click it and choose Save Link As. Otherwise your browser might just play it as text instead of downloading it. Once everything is downloaded, create a new folder somewhere convenient. I will do it directly in the download path. Move all 3 files into it, the ISO, the signature, and the SHA-256 sum text file. This just keeps things organized and makes the next step easier. Now, hold the Shift key and right-click on the Arch folder. You'll see an option that says Open in Terminal or PowerShell window. Click that. This opens PowerShell already pointed at the right folder, which saves us having to navigate there manually. To confirm you're in the right place, type ls and hit enter. You should see your 3 files listed there. Now we're going to verify the PGP signature that confirms that the ISO was actually signed by the Arch Linux developers and hasn't been modified. Type the command that I have left in the description. GPG will go and fetch the signing key automatically and then check the signature. What you're looking for in the output is the line "Good signature from Pierre Schmitz." You'll also see a warning saying that something like "The key is not certified with a trusted signature." Don't worry about that. It's completely normal and expected. As long as you see good signature, you're fine. Now we need to verify the checksum. The signature tells us the ISO came from Arch Linux. Now we're going to verify the checksum, which tells us the file was downloaded correctly with no corruption. Type the command I have again put in the description. This will generate a long string of letters and numbers. Now display the SHA-256 file. We can use Notepad. You can copy the sum and compare the two strings. They need to be completely identical, character for character. If they match, your ISO is perfect. If they don't match, the file is corrupted and you need to download it again. That's it. Your ISO is verified and you're ready to write it to USB drive and start your Arch Linux installation. First, we need to create an Arch Linux bootable USB. We will use the tool Balena Etcher to do it. Select your USB drive and then go to the folder where your ISO sits, select it and start the process. Once it's done, you can remove the USB. Once you have everything, you need to put the USB into your computer, turn the computer on and press F1. Thanks to this, we will go to the BIOS setup. Remember to plug in your Ethernet cable to the computer, otherwise you won't have internet at this stage. In the BIOS, first go to the Security tab and go to Secure Boot. Make sure that Secure Boot is off, otherwise we won't be able to run archinstall from the USB. Once this is done, we can just save and exit and reboot the computer. During the reboot, spam F12 to go into the BIOS and choose the USB drive. Once you are presented with the archinstall screen, just choose archinstall medium without the speech. Now we just need to wait until everything boots. First we need to check if the internet is working. We need to ping 8.8.8.8 or any website that you wish. This is just Google. If packets are arriving with zero loss, we have internet and we can proceed. Now launch the Arch installer using the command archinstall. The first part is archinstall language. The first option is the language for the installer itself. I will leave it as English. Then the locales. Locales control the language and the regional format of your installed system. Things like date format, currency and character encoding. Set this to match your region. Then we have the mirrors and repositories. These are the servers that Arch will download the packages from. Pick a mirror close to your country for the fastest speeds. Arch has no central download server. It uses global network of mirrors. The closer the mirror, the faster your install. You can also add custom repositories, but I will just leave the defaults for now, as we will see later during the KDE Plasma setup how to do it. Disk configuration. Here I select my drive and choose the best effort default partition layout. This automatically creates 3 partitions, EFI for the bootloader, swap as overflow memory, and root where everything is installed. Linux needs the disk split into separate areas. The FI partition is required for UEFI systems to boot, swap acts as emergency RAM, and root is your main Swiss system. In the file system, I'll just choose ext4 and create a different partition for home. Having a separate home partition is like having your personal files on a completely different drive. I will also use disk encryption via LUKS. Thanks to this, every time I boot the computer, it would ask me for a secret passphrase. Thanks to the disk encryption, even if somebody takes out the SSD from your computer and puts it in another one, it won't be able to read the data inside it. Swap is overflow memory. When your RAM fills up, the system uses disk space instead of crashing. I will leave this as default. The bootloader is what starts Linux when you power on. Without it, the firmware wouldn't know how to load the OS. I'm choosing Grub, most reliable on Thinkpads. The kernel is the core of the operating system. It manages hardware, memory and processes. I'm leaving this as default Linux kernel. You can also choose Linux LTS for long-term support or a different one. The hostname is just the name of your machine on the network. You'll also see it in your terminal prompt. I'm calling mine ximilnet. Authentication. Here I set the root password and create my regular user account. I'm adding my user to the sudo group. That means that I can run admin commands when needed without logging in as the root every time. Why 2 accounts? Root can do anything including delete system files. For daily use, you work as a regular user, which limits accidental damage. Sudo lets you borrow root powers temporarily when needed. Profile. I'm selecting desktop then KDE Plasma. This installs a full graphical environment, taskbar, file manager, settings, everything. KDE works great on Thinkpads and is highly customizable. Without a desktop profile, you would only have a terminal after install. KDE Plasma is modern, fast and works well on Thinkpad hardware. I also need to choose the graphics driver for my graphics card. I will choose NVIDIA and take the recommended one. Applications. This lets you set up Bluetooth, Pipewire for audio, and power management. For the audio configuration, I will select Pipewire. The print service, as the name suggests, lets you activate printers. I will just leave it as no. For the power management, I will leave it as tuned. And I can also set up a firewall, but I will leave it for now. In the Network Configuration tab, you can either use the configuration that is right now, thanks to your Ethernet cable, or you can go into Manual Configuration. I will leave it on as default. If you want to have Wi-Fi straight out of the gate, choose Network Manager. Pacman, I leave it as default. This is the Arch Package Manager. It's how you install software. I will leave it as default. In additional packages, I can install additional packages during my Arch install. If you already know what you want to install additionally, you can choose it here. I will leave it. Time zone. Set your time zone to your location. This makes sure your system clock is correct. Automatic time sync. NTP keeps your clock accurate by syncing with internet time servers. I will leave this as enabled. Everything is set. I'm hitting install now and confirming. Arch install will now download and install everything we selected. When it finishes, it asks to root into the new system. I'll just say no and reboot. Remove the USB and the machine should boot straight into Grub, then Arch. In Grub, press enter on Arch Linux. If you go to the Discover application, you can find Dolphin. This is the file manager. If it's not downloaded yet, download it, so you can view the files that are available on your computer straight from KDE. Now I will show you a couple of commands that you can use. The first command is sudo pacman-syu. This updates the whole system. use the command clear to delete everything in the terminal. If you want to install something, you can just use the command sudo pacman, in this case sudo pacman s firefox. As we can see, it installed Firefox instantly and we can use it. We can check if internet is working by going into YouTube. And as we can see, everything seems to be working fine. Another command that you can use is fast fetch. This will give you the all beloved terminal view of your system. Thank you all for watching. I hope you liked this one. Please hit a like, a subscribe, and see you on the next one. Have a good one.